Hey beautiful women, happy Wednesday. Welcome to our little mini masterclass here. My name's Susan Francis, leading NLP and timeline therapy breakthrough coach, really helping women to break through and step into their power and shed all their limiting beliefs, negative emotions and blocks that keep them trapped. So thanks so much for joining me today, or if you're watching this on replay, pop replay down below. I love to know who's tuning in. So today we're talking about how your past is keeping you trapped. And this is something which, I think is a really important topic to kind of really dig down into and have some understanding of and some knowledge on how to shift it to really, create the results you want in your life. So I guess the first thing to sort of talk about is that, every single time that you do something that you've failed at before, your beliefs about it will make you feel like you've only failed again. So if you're hanging on to that old story, so let me just ask, maybe this is an easier way. Have you ever had, perhaps a failed relationship or a job that hasn't worked out, just been hurt by people in the past hurts or past traumas, any negative experience that you've had before that when you think about it or think about doing something like that again, you avoid those situations like the plague. So you just avoid completely repeating any of those what you think are mistakes or failures. So perhaps if you've, an example would be if you'd been in a relationship before where you were cheated on, even if you might be with a partner now, you may never fully trust. You may never fully trust that person, or if you're someone who is single, every time you go to date someone, you have this really deep sense of distrust because of your past experience, because you've been cheated on before, you really feel that will happen again. And just stop and think for a minute, like, what do you think that does to your future relationships or your potential future relationships or your current relationship, if you are in one now, if you can't have wholehearted trust with someone? And if you've got children, what do you think you're teaching your children if you never fully trust someone because you've been hurt before? And I just want you to, if you can think of a situation like that where something really traumatic, some time when you've really been hurt before has happened to you, and how you avoid those situations or never fully trust. Just if we take this situation like being cheated on, like I said, imagine, just stop and sort of think for a minute, logically, statistically, what are the chances of you being cheated on again? Most people go through all of their relationships and never have that happen to them. So, ask yourself, if it is someone, if you can think of something similar to this, ask yourself, what are the chances really of that happening to you again, statistically? Probably very, very low. It's only because it's happened to you that you put that in a spotlight and you have this belief and this expectation that it's going to happen again. And the problem with that is that, like I said, one, you avoid certain things because you're afraid you'll fail again. But the other thing is, it's self-perpetuating. One of the things that's important to talk about here is, the law of attraction, and what you give energy to, what you give thought and emotion to, you'll attract into your life. So we're all energetic beings. Everything is energy. We give off vibrations. The universe is all energy, plants, animals, people, everything is energy. And so if you are giving thoughts and emotions to what you don't want to happen, that is what you'll attract into your life. So if you were just looking at this example of someone that's been cheated on, if you focus on, oh my God, I don't want to be cheated on again, I was cheated on in the past, oh my God, I don't want to be cheated on again, your subconsciously, what your subconscious mind is hearing is being cheated on, being cheated on, being cheated on. And that is what you'll draw into your life. And so it's really important, these stories, these beliefs that we have about our past, they keep us stuck. Just me personally, I was never very good at sport at school. Well, at least that was the story I was telling myself. And so as I grew up, I didn't, I played netball, but I didn't really like it. I wasn't very sporty, right? I was always more intellectual. I wasn't sporty, more academic. And so when I got to my 20s and I started to exercise because I wanted to lose some weight. That was my only motivation behind it. So, really watched what I eat, and I tried to do some exercise, but I hated exercise. Like, I was only doing it to try and lose weight. And over time, I eventually grew to enjoy exercise. I got a personal trainer that really helped. It really helped to have, this is the thing, right? It really helped to have someone else to keep me accountable, because I wasn't very good at keeping myself accountable. So someone else to kick my butt was really important. But I'd always had this belief that I was never very good at sport, and I'd certainly had this belief that I was never a runner. I had done boot camps and things, and whenever we had to do running, I would always just struggle, and I'd stop and I'd walk, and I'd just tell myself that I'm just not a runner. I can do other things, but I can't run. So my trainer I had at the time set me a challenge and said, you should go out and sign yourself up for something, like a challenge, like a run or some sort of challenge. So I decided to sign up for the City to Surf, and anyone who knows that, it's 14 kilometers with lots of hills. So for someone that's not a runner, right, that was really daunting. But I committed to it. I roped some friends into doing it with me, and I mapped out sort of a training schedule, a training program. And over those weeks, I just knew that if I just did this one run today and just got this far, and just every week kept adding to it, I'd eventually get there. But what I did fundamentally was that I changed my belief about it. I changed my belief from telling myself I wasn't a runner. I started telling myself a new story, that if I just stuck to doing the small runs every week and eventually just kept building it up, that I could eventually get there. But the fundamental shift was changing my belief about being a runner. And cut a long story short, ran 14 kilometers up hills, didn't stop, made a really good time. And at the end of it, I went, okay guys, to my friends, what's next? Let's do a half marathon. And there was a half marathon in 7 weeks. And one of my friends was like, oh no, we can't do that. It's another 7 kilometers. And I was like, but hang on, a few months ago, maybe 6 months ago, I couldn't run 14 kilometers, and now I can. So I can definitely do 21, right? It's just another 7. So my story had shifted, and my results of what I could achieve shifted to match that. So I did do half marathons and did several of them. But it was the fundamental shift of believing that I was or wasn't a runner that had the biggest impact. And that's, for me, been one of my biggest teaching lessons, I guess, in my life, as to how I went from completely one belief about myself because of my past, because I'd never been good at sport at school, I'd never been athletic at school. I believed that that was who I was. And the thing to realize is that your stories are not who you are. Your stories are not who you are, and your past is not who you are, or who you is. I don't know if that makes sense. It's the belief about it that makes the difference. And so the first thing. So one other thing I wanted to say actually is about this is that, when you have had something, what I was doing, if we just talk about my running story, and is that what was happening is when I would go, like I said, go to a boot camp or something and there's a bit of a run, I would, like I said, stop and walk, and I'd tell myself this story. I'd be like, see, I'm not a runner. I can't run. And so your mind is always looking for information to back up what your beliefs are. So if you believe that you're not a runner, or that you're going to be cheated on again, whatever those things are, or that I can't, I can't get that job because I didn't make it through last time, or I can't get that promotion, or whatever it is, whatever that past thing that's happened to you, that you believe that because it happened in the past, that has written your future. Whatever that past thing is, if that's your belief, your subconscious mind will look for information to back up your story. So every time I'd go to run, I'd be like, yeah, I'm just not a runner. I can't do it. I'm not like other people. I just can't do that. And my mind was always looking for the ways to reinforce that belief. But the problem is that your mind will generalize, delete, and distort information all day, every day, and every second of every day. It's generalizing, distorting, and deleting information. And, it has to do that because there's just too many things in any given second to process. But what it does is it generalizes, deletes, and distorts based on your beliefs. So if you, like I said, if you believe that you can't do something, then your mind will find the information that backs up that belief. And guess what? It will be your reality. Because you're looking for, okay, yeah, see, I told you it wouldn't work. I knew I couldn't do that, right? But if you change your belief, you change your story, you look for ways to make it happen. Your subconscious mind finds ways to make it happen. And like I said, this is my running story has been, like I said, one of my life's biggest teaching moments, because when I decided I was going to do it, I looked for strategies and people and things to help me. So I went, okay, cool. Like, let's get some buddies to do it with me. So I've got some accountability, and let's just, commit to, I sort of kind of just Googled, like, I don't know, how to run 14 kilometers, like how to train for it. And just then decided that I had to do 3 runs a week and, so many kilometers, and just built it up. Week 1 was very small, but by the end of it, we were running however far we needed to. So the thing is that once your belief changes, I then looked for ways, like there were people that didn't believe that I could do it, right? Because I'd never been a runner before. But once I changed my belief, my subconscious mind went, okay, let's find things to support your new belief that you're going to do this. And that's the power of it. So whatever that belief is, whatever that past experience is that you believe will keep repeating itself, it will if you let it. It will keep you stuck. So I think that whenever you have a negative story alive inside you, you'll feel stuck, and you won't even really know the reason why. But it's because you've got this negative story or negative belief that it's keeping you trapped. Every time you think you want to do something, it's pulling you back to your belief or your story about it. So, sorry, I'm just looking at some notes. So yeah, you're always, every attempt to try and do something new, you'll always be pulled back by your failures if that is where your belief lies. If you believe that, that because you failed in the past, because you haven't been able to achieve that thing in the past, that it will happen again. And, just if you just logically think about things for a minute, I'm sure there are many, many things that you do today that you didn't do 20 years ago or 10 years ago or 5 years ago. We all learn new things all the time. I love the sort of analogy of, when a child starts walking or learning to walk and they start to fall over, you don't go, see, you can't do that, don't get up again, just crawl all your life. You just encourage them. You're like, keep going. Just because you fell over last time doesn't mean you will fall over next time, right? You get up, you're a bit wobbly, but you keep going, you keep trying, and eventually you learn that new thing, you change. And we all evolve and change. It's only hanging on to our past stories that will keep us trapped. It's believing that because it's happened in the past, it will happen again. So whatever happened yesterday, that does not define who you are tomorrow. It only defines who you are tomorrow if you let it, if you allow it, if you keep telling that story. So this, it's an unhealthy, it's a miserable pattern that will keep you stuck, will keep you trapped. And the older we get, you've heard people say, that people get stuck in their ways as they get older. It's only because over time, they start giving up. They give up that they can make any changes, do anything different. They give up on their dreams because they think, well, I didn't succeed at that, so I'm not going to try that again. That sort of relationship failed. I'm not going to bother with that again. That person let me down. I'm just going to stop going out, trusting people, hanging out with people, whatever it is, whatever those stories are, they are slowly crushing you and keeping you trapped unless you shine a spotlight on those dysfunctional patterns and just smash them out of the park. So, I want to help you move beyond what you think you are, what you think your stories are, or what you think your reality is, because you are capable of so much more. We all are. So we are all capable of so much more than whatever you're doing or achieving right now. And it's your past stories that are keeping you trapped. So you've got to take responsibility. This is the first thing. You've got to take responsibility that you are the author of your life, not your your partner or your boss or your children or your mum or your sister or your friends. You write your stories. And if you want to change them, you have the power to do that. So, what we all need is, this world needs, there are people out there waiting for you to step up and step into your greatness and shine the light for them. We can all be an inspiration to someone else, and someone else out there, whether it's your children or a family member or a greater community, is waiting for you to step up and shine your light and step into everything that you can be. So a great way to start shifting these past stories, these past beliefs that you've got, is to, first of all, like I said, face them head on. So a great exercise to do, this is something that everyone can do, is to just really get honest with yourself. Start by writing down all of those negative stories, all of those limiting beliefs. When you think about where you'd love to be in your life, or what you want to achieve, or what you haven't achieved, or past hurts, past failures, whatever they are, write down all of the negative stories that come up. Like if you think about wanting to do something new and a story comes up for you, I can't do that because, write it down. Go through the process of writing them all down. I can never travel overseas because I'm never going to have the financial capacity to do that, and I'm never going to live in a whatever house because I won't be able to afford to do it, or I'm never going to have that sort of relationship because I don't know, I'm not good enough, or whatever those things are, whatever those stories are, or that I don't want to be in another relationship because men just cheat, or like me, I can't ever be fit because I just wasn't born to be a runner. It's all BS. Like it really is. They are patterns that your subconscious mind has developed, and they can be changed. And we're all going to fail. We all fail all the time, but you choose whether you'll learn, or whether you will learn from that experience, or you'll take it on and put it on and it be your negative story that keeps you trapped. So it's your choice, but this is a really powerful exercise. Write down all of those negative stories, all of those limiting beliefs, and it's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel good to actually really be honest with yourself and write them all down, but it's powerful to do it. So once you've done that, the next thing to do, shake it all out for a second. And what you want to do is start to retrain or reprogram your brain. And so what you do is you then write down a more empowering belief. It's usually the complete opposite. So if you believe that, I'm just using my example, that, I'm never going to be able to run 10 kilometers because I've never been good at sport. Write down a new belief, always starting with the truth is. So the truth is, I can achieve anything I want to achieve when I put my mind to it, or I can train myself to become a runner, whatever it is. Like, just write down a more empowering belief, something you would love to believe. So if you've been hurt in a past relationship and you think, you've been cheated on and you think that's will happen again, write down a more empowering belief that you would love to believe. I know you don't right now. I know you don't believe it right now, but write down what you would love that empowering belief to be. And then the key is you've got to reinforce it. So your subconscious mind will adopt or take on whatever you keep telling it. So if you tell yourself something enough times, you start to believe it, right? So the way to start to shift that thinking, to shift that past story, to shift that belief, is to read those new empowering beliefs to yourself at least twice a day. The best time is first thing in the morning, last thing at night, because it's when your brain is in a more relaxed state and it will take on those suggestions more easily. So reading out your new empowering beliefs and really feeling into them will start to shift those stories and those old negative patterns that sort of have been holding you back. So I'm sorry, people are jumping on, my things are being a bit weird so I can't see. But yeah, so I hope that helps. So it's about reprogramming. Whatever has happened in the past, it does not define your future unless you choose to stay there. And it is a choice. There is nothing that has happened to you that defines who you need to be, who you are tomorrow. It's all choices that we make. We make up those meanings. We choose what things mean. So past hurts, past traumas, past failures do not define who you become tomorrow. Only you define that. You define that by the story that you write. So I'd really encourage you to, to do this process, get real with yourself, write down all of those negative stories that come up. And there's lots of little negative voices. Most of what we say to ourselves is negative unless you're really training your mind otherwise. So write them all down, then go through that process of rewriting with the truth is, the more empowering belief, and then reprogram your subconscious mind. So by reading these every morning, every night, it will absolutely start to shift that thinking. And you might just want to focus on a couple of things, a couple of big things, and repeat those to yourself, or repeat them to yourself many times during the day. Whenever you're feeling low, just repeat perhaps a couple of your more empowering beliefs. And I'd love to, for anyone that actually does this exercise, I would love to hear, even after a week, how you're feeling. Because like I said, it's reprobing, it's repetition is the key to change, and you absolutely can do it. You're all, like I said, capable of so much more. We all are than what we give ourselves credit for. So I hope that was helpful. I love tuning in here and adding some value to this group. I'd love any feedback if you girls are finding it worthwhile, if you're enjoying these little sessions. And like I said, if there's anything that you'd like to know more about, or particular areas that you're struggling with that I might be able to help with, then by all means comment or PM me directly. I'd love to hear from you. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I will talk to you all again soon. Bye for now.